We have police athletic leagues all over New York State, and actually all over the United States of America. What is the role of a police athletic league?
Well, PAL programs, came about a number of years ago. Actually, coming up on 100th year anniversary. 1914 was the first PAL chapter.
What city?
In New York City.
Okay.
And basically, it's odd. A group of shopkeepers were having some problems with some youth hanging out with nothing to do. Sound familiar? And lo and behold, there was a beat.
Some things never change.
Yes. There was a beat cop in that particular neighborhood who decided he wanted to try to do some stuff for the kids, to, get them off the streets. And he started a boxing program, which boxing has become synonymous with PAL. And here we are, almost 100 years later, and there's some 700 or so PAL chapters actually around the world. We have chapters in the Caribbean. We have chapters in Nigeria. Canada's pretty well heavily populated, and there's a couple of chapters in Europe. But the primary presence is here in the United States, where there's probably a little over 600 chapters of them right here in the United States. In New York State, we've got some 45 to 50 chapters. And the nice thing about PAL programs is there is no cookie cutter. It's whatever the community thinks they're capable of bringing together and doing. I know, having been involved on the ground level with our organization 23 years ago, and we started by doing some one-day events. We put on a half dozen one-day events. The days that the kids could fall victim to the latchkey syndrome, where mom and dad are at work, maybe they weren't traditional holidays where they would be off from work, and we were doing activities, centered around that one day where the kids could come for the day and be in a safe, fun, controlled environment, and parents didn't have to worry. We've now grown exponentially to where we're serving some 3,000 kids annually, and we've got right now we're approaching our busiest time, where we'll have about 700 kids a week in various activities around the city. Whether it's an after-school homework club, one of our 14 chess programs, a karate program, or many of our athletic programs. People associate Police Athletic League with athletics, where we've become more encompassing and are doing a lot of the educational programming. Again, in our program now, we're getting into the whole STEM element, with the science and technology, the engineering and the math. And in fact, on the 12th of November, we had a very successful event with the College of Nano Scale here at the University of Albany, and we had a one-day Nano Fair, and was very well received by the PAL kids, and it was a success by every measure.
What do you think is the most important part of, and not just Albany's Police Athletic League, Buffalo, Syracuse, around the nation, what do you think is the biggest contribution that a Police Athletic League makes to a community? Well, I think one of the things, and again, we're very fortunate and blessed in that the PAL program survives, it thrives, and it's able to do what it does based on the community's input and the community involvement. We're not-for-profit. It's just amazing. A number of the folks that you'll talk to, they think you're a budgeted item in a government entity. While years ago, we may have gotten some governmental support when the dollars were there. Those dollars have dried up nowadays. So there's just not a lot of grant money out there for organizations such as ours relative to after-school programming, crime prevention programming, which is very important. So we're able to do what we do by getting creative and doing some terrific development projects, such as the Capitol lights, the Capitol holiday lights in the park, as well as the private donations that come in and the matching dollars that come in from the corporations where folks are working, and folks just they think of us now, and that's great, because it just shows you that we're wanted, we're needed, and we're filling a void. It's funny, I never heard of a Police Athletic League until Art Mitchell, who used to play for the Negro Baseball Leagues, a resident of the Capital Region, came to me and came to our then owner, of the radio stations I work at, Gary Pease. And Gary Pease, as soon as he heard the word Police Athletic League, or the 3 words, was like, wow, I want to help. And that's how we got involved, because Gary had been involved as a kid in the Police Athletic Leagues in New York City, and evidently Art had been, and you mentioned that's where they started. And since the Police Athletic League started in Albany, you have tremendous success stories, and you had a recent breakfast in the Capital Region. You take it away, Lenny.
Well, we hosted our first annual Breakfast of Champions, and again, having like yourself been around for the number of years that our organization has been in existence, we're now approaching a point in our history where our kids have grown up. The kids in our programs have grown up. We have our first board member who was a child in our program. We have those stories out there. We have a young lady who's finishing up her residence at University of Oklahoma Medical Center and is a doctor. We have Deion Lewis, who was our guest at our first annual Breakfast of Champions. He's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was in town, and we had a very successful event. Almost 200 people at an inaugural event, 186 people actually to be exact.
It was very apparent that the Albany Police Athletic League is very personal to him. That came across in his talk.
Well, again, like any of us who were fortunate to grow up with those types of organizations in our lives, Deion speaking from the heart about the importance of programs such as PAL and his other program that was important to him was the Pop Warner program, and the roles and the place that they played in him developing to be the fine young man that he is. And he is a fine young man. He's 20 years old playing in the NFL. University of Pittsburgh did great there. Came out early. You're talking about a young guy relative to his athletic prowess. He broke Tony Dorsett's rushing record at Pitt. Tony Dorsett's in the Hall of Fame, so he's got a bright future ahead of him, and naturally we're very proud of him. We're proud of all of our alumni, whether they're young people who came through the programs or folks like Bob Wolfgang, who's PAL alumni. I mean, the program wouldn't be here if it weren't for him and Art Mitchell and those folks who had the thoughts and had the foresight to bring the organization about and realize the importance of the work we could do.
Well, you traveled around the United States of America to different Police Athletic League events. Instead of the rest of the country, what is going on in New York State with other police athletic leagues, like people watching us today in Syracuse or Buffalo? What are some of the great things they're doing?
Buffalo has a tremendous program. They've been around a lot longer. In fact, we're going to be heading up there. They do a great New Year's Eve event up in Buffalo. They're the ones that actually run the ball drop in downtown Buffalo.
Okay, I didn't know downtown Buffalo had a ball drop.
Yes, downtown Buffalo has a ball drop.
That other city in New York City in the States seems to overshadow them a little.
Their ball drops from the City Hall right in downtown Buffalo, and it's as I understand, I've seen pictures, from some folks, some friends of mine that are involved in Buffalo PAL and police officers up there, and we're looking forward to going to Buffalo for the New Year's Eve ball drop.
That's their big fundraiser.
By Buffalo PAL. Yes, that's a big fundraiser they do. Most of us do the usual ones, the golf outings. Buffalo has a race that they do. Actually, that they've done for many years. I believe they still do it. And one of the races is a point 5K.
Okay.
Literally, you race from one end of a building to the other end of the building. The first one to the sofa gets the chicken wings, and I guess it's targeting all the enthusiasts, the folks who aren't so much the runners that are going to run the 5 and 10Ks.
Yes,
but want to get out there and run. There you go.
What about Syracuse? How is Syracuse doing?
Well, Syracuse, they do a number of different things through the police department. Mm-hmm. Activities in the municipality. They don't per se they're not affiliated with the national organization, but they have some great things they're doing in Syracuse. Greece has a very prominent PAL program as well. They do a lot of activities with their community. Obviously, I'm more familiar with what's going on in the immediate capital region, and I do have a connection with Buffalo, so I do know that they're doing a lot of good things. Buffalo does a lot at the HSBC Center up there too as well for their chapters. But heading up up to Syracuse for a SU game, and I might stop in and see what's going on.
Now, how about, no matter what the Police Athletic League is, how can parents get their kids involved, or how can mom and dad or grandmama and grandpapa get involved with police athletic leagues, and how could they make a contribution? I'm not talking about financial, a voluntary contribution.
Well, you know, pretty much if you Google Police Athletic League, you're going to get a number of hits. So you would start in your community by Googling your communities. So if you were to search Albany Police Athletic League, you'd get a hit on our website, and we have a very easy to navigate website. A lot of drop downs, you know, whether tell you about the programs and the different activities, whether it's athletics or whether it's recreational, whether it's educational, social. So parents can, and we also have right on our homepage is our calendar of events. You'll find everything that's going on every day. If you decide your child wants to participate in something, or you want to get more information, you can contact us at our office, 518-435-0392, and you know, we'll fill you in on, you know, whether we have programs in a particular neighborhood school, whether we're in a community center nearby, or whether you would come to our main facility at the former VI Vincentian Institute High School, which we're very fortunate to be in now. So there's a number of ways to contact us. Again, it's that same thing relative to the cookie cutter. We can appeal to a masses. One of our biggest programs right now, as far as athletics, is track and field. Everybody can run. You know, most of these kids can run, and so we've had a tremendous response to track and field. In fact, it just wrapped up for our third. It's a 3-season program for us, so it just wrapped up on Veterans Day.